Good morning, friends. I'm thinking about something I want to share with you, and that's how, as humans, we all have our own what we call worldview, and worldview comes from not only what we've personally experienced, but much of the attitudes that were shared with us while we were growing up, or the people, the eyeball people around us, and as we build our worldview, it's very much human nature to look for things that support that, right? Like, for instance, maybe, I don't know, you're told that dogs are really scary, right? So you don't notice all the times necessarily that dogs are being sweet, not scary, but the times that they bark at you have extra meaning because it matches the worldview that you grew up with. Not the best example. But if we can learn to go out into the world and to gain our future experiences with an open mind and not just look for the things that support what we've been told by others, even a teacher, right? What we've come to believe, if we, when we recognize something like, wait a minute, I always had the impression that whatever, and then we see something that like surprises us, we need to add that to our worldview. I'll give another little example here. I had the worldview growing up. I grew up in the 60s and the 70s. I was born in 1961. This was a time when we were getting away from our scratch cooking. It's called cooking from basic ingredients and getting more into processed food. And our lifestyles were changing quite a bit. We were not moving around as much as like our grandparents had, gotten away from farming and that kind of thing. And I had come to have this impression that older people just stopped moving as much and they would get fat. And, that was just kind of like the natural progression of things. And then I want to have this painting behind me because it's just so beautiful. But then when I was in my early 20s, I moved to Switzerland for a bit. I had an opportunity to take a job there. And I remember I was out in the mountains walking around and here were these people that were the age of, you know, elders at home marching around in the mountains with their knee socks. Like, da, 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 da. This shifted my worldview. This helped me to realize that maybe you didn't necessarily have to get old, that you could possibly have more control over that than I had understood previously. Just a simple example. So I would encourage you to be what we call a critical thinker. That doesn't mean that you criticize everything, right? That means that as you observe things, you think about it, you ask questions, you try to learn more. And most of all, it's important to learn to change your thinking, to add new information and to shift your thinking and not conserve those old opinions, right? To let your thoughts progress into new understandings. But it's important to do that with an open heart because we need to recognize that all humans make mistakes and there can be other things going on that are causing people to make certain decisions. So don't just automatically change your viewpoint. Add it to your information in your brain, if that makes sense. Here comes a car. These tight little roads. Oh, it's a taxi. Have a great day, friends, and thanks for listening.